Canada. Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
Now you're more fluent. What up?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Tony Tone, Lee Malone. What's up, brother?
What are you doing on January 17th?
January the 17th. That's Friday, I think. Yeah, what am I doing on Friday? I don't think I have anything planned.
No?
Should I be doing something on Friday? I am doing play. I am doing playback Friday.
What game are you doing?
That's a good question. I don't know, but I do know that we're on the main stage Friday night.
Are you doing Wolves and Knicks on the main stage?
Maybe. Maybe. Are you asking, Tone, because you might be on the main stage doing Wolves and Knicks?
I'm not confirming or denying nothing.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Snap back to reality.
You never know. Guess who's back?
Yeah.
Back again. You never know. You never know. That's all I'm saying. You never know. I have so many things.
Mm-hmm.
Like this show might have to be 17 hours long. I have so many things I want to complain about, but as always, we will start with joy to the world.
Oh boy.
She hasn't even addressed it. Anyways, that's not what I'm starting off with. I'm starting off with my favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
You hate it. I love it.
Game, something happened that just isn't right. What happened? And the Warriors are going to try to make things right. This kid had a Curry jersey on, right?
Oh no.
They made him take it off because he was going to do a thing on the court. He put his Warrior hat and jersey.
Yo, this is messed up.
They put the Raptor t-shirt on him.
Look how sad he is.
I mean, that's... Come on now.
Usually say, like, oh, you made that kid's night. They've ruined his night.
I would have thrown him out of the damn game. Why? I don't know why they even picked him.
I would pay any amount of bread, all the bread that I own. You can have everything in my crib to see my nephew, Fluent Jr. If the Toronto Raptors staff picks my nephew with a Curry jersey on, make him take that jersey off in order to get on the floor. Right on the floor, by the way. On the floor.
I would make him take it off.
Oh my God.
You can't go to another arena wearing the visiting team's jersey and expect to go on their court and do something. No. Now, shame on them for picking him.
Right.
Shame on whoever made that selection. You're wearing too bad. I'm a jerk. I'd say, oh, you're wearing a Warriors jersey? Sorry, we were going to pick you to come on the court. Next. Find a Toronto Raptor fan. And listen, I get it. It's Steph Curry. He's going to have fans. He's like LeBron. He's going to have fans in every arena. That's not the kid you pick. It's not.
So if that's the kid okay, sure, fine, Tone. That's not the kid you pick. However, they did come over to Fluent Jr. We want to bring your kid on the floor. They want to do that.
And just so you know, we're going to take him on the floor. He can't wear the Warriors jersey. Yeah, cool. Take it off. He's got a t-shirt underneath.
They didn't say that right there, though. It was right there.
That's the thing. They screwed up on multiple occasions. Unless it's Canada. On Monday night when the Warriors were here, it was minus 20. So I'm sure he was wearing a jacket.
Yes, he was.
So I'm sure he was wearing a big, heavy coat. And so maybe they didn't know. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say they didn't know.
Next to his people, Tom. But they all had Warriors jerseys on.
I'm sure they all had parkas on too.
Uh-huh.
It was cold.
So are you telling? Is it your testimony? I want to make sure that I'm understanding Tone correctly. So Tone, Fluent Jr. gets picked out of the crowd. He's got his Curry jersey on. He's supercharged. Yo, we need you to make a free throw. We need you to make a layup. You need you to make a free throw and a three, and you can win $500. But
you gotta take off the jersey.
You get on the floor. You got to take that jersey off.
100%.
Wow, Tone.
100%. Not only that,
No,
if he walked onto the court with the Warriors jersey, I would expect the home crowd to boo him.
oh my God, Fluent
That's
Junior.
real. That's real. That's realistic thinking. Like anything else is just you're not. What do you expect?
I expect for me to be, first of all, Tone, I remember going to the Eastern Conference Championship with my ex, right? I went to the Eastern Conference Championship with my ex, and it's in American Airlines Arena at the time.
So
She got
it was the Huskies against the Tri-City Blackhawks. Is that who?
and she's got a big.
George Mikan was starting at center.
Oh my goodness.
No, okay. Who's playing?
She got a Ben Wallace jersey on.
Okay.
In South Beach, right? She got a Ben Wallace jersey
Is
on.
Detroit, Miami?
Yes.
Okay.
She got a Ben Wallace jersey on. And here I am with her. And mind you, remember who gave me the tickets, Tone? It's not like, we from out of town. And remember who gave me the tickets? She got a Ben Wallace jersey on.
The Miami Heat.
Right,
I believe
he's on the team. And he gave me the tickets. And she got a Ben Wallace jersey on. I'm like, you're going to get us killed, yo.
What? Okay. So what goes through someone's mind as an adult? Have you ever, I don't know if you ever watched Seinfeld, but there's an episode of Seinfeld where Elaine Bennis is given tickets through Jerry or George or whatever, and they're sitting in the owner's box at Yankee Stadium.
Right.
And I want to say they're playing the Red Sox, which obviously that's a rivalry, right? And she's wearing a Red Sox hat. No, you're in the owner's box of the Yankees. No,
you can't.
Like, did you see this woman at the Philadelphia Green Bay? And the dude, listen, what the dude said was very inappropriate. However, she has every right to get booed. She has every right to get
for that too. By the way, Tone,
he got fired. Well, yeah, what he said was very what he said was wrong.
He was fouled.
Yeah, he was fouled for what he said. Now, had he said, boo, you don't belong here, get out of here, like he kept it, whatever. Okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah, he took it too far. But yeah, what happened to this kid? I'm not like, hey, he got a free Raptors t-shirt out of it. I'm assuming the kid lives in Toronto.
Right.
Or area. And he's a Steph Curry fan. That's fine. Like Fluent Jr. has his Steph Curry jersey, and do you know how much it was? There's front row courtside.
Yep.
You know how much that cost for this game?
With Curry in town, if I had to guess off the top of my head, Tone, them tickets probably went for $5,000 a piece.
$6,500.
Yeah.
To get the autograph session, the VIP package at the end, not as good seats, $2,300.
So almost $9,000.
That's crazy. No. Two separate things. Okay. You could have got $2,000, and then he does like an autograph session at the end. That's
right.
Crazy.
So in addition to the tickets,
no,
we bought
$6,500 for front row tickets. That's or you could get like third row and have an autograph at the end. I'm assuming.
So it's either or. Okay, I got you.
Oh God,
either or.
Yeah.
Hey man, when the stars come to town, absolutely, ticket prices go up. I'm sure that when Portland comes to town, I probably could sit in the front row for less than $5,000 or $6,000.
I don't know.
Pretty confident.
I don't know about in Toronto. It's crazy here. It's ridiculous. Put it this way. I'm not gonna say numbers, but I took 8 people. To the Pistons game.
Yeah.
And I paid less than what I paid for one ticket in the same section. And I showed you my seats, right?
You did. You had good seats. You was right there.
8 of those are cheaper than one. And it was Pistons. It wasn't like it was Pistons and Timberwolves.
Right. Which is a good game.
Anthony Edwards put up 53 points.
He went for 53 that night. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And
53.
They lost, but
Tone, is it? And I can appreciate fandom. All right. Okay, Tone, I can appreciate fandom. I'm not one of these people that's above fandom. I can appreciate fandom, and I think that supporting your team is a big deal. But when you're a part of the staff, I don't care what arena it is, whether it's with the Lakers, whether it's with the Knicks, if you pick somebody out of the crowd and I got on a different jersey, I got a different uniform.
Shame on you.
That sounds like that sounds like a personnel problem with them. I'm not taking my jersey off. You already know I'm with the opposing team. You know that. If you don't want me out here, go pick somebody else because I'm not taking my jersey off.
Yeah, there's like I said, unless like I said, they didn't know that he had a Warriors jersey on. It seems a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the circumstances of what happened. I like how the commentator's losing his mind, like if it was in Golden State and the guy had a Raptors jersey on, it would have been the exact same thing, which I think is hilarious. And then, the Warriors are going to make it up to them. How are the Warriors going to make it up to that kid? No. They're not. Like, this is lies. Like, dude, like, here's how stupid, if I may, here's how stupid the people of San Francisco are, if you can indulge me for a moment. This stupid, and I used to live there, so I'm allowed to pick on them. This is how stupid the people of San Francisco are. Notice, stolen goods must remain under $950.
What the hell does that even mean?
Well, because it's not a crime. It's a misdemeanor. They can't give you a ticket. It's too much crime, so they can't deal with it. So basically, you can go into Louis Vuitton, and as long as it's $949, just take it and go. Take it.
Stolen goods must remain so you can take something at a Louis Vuitton with it. But what in that store in the Louis store is under $1,000? I wonder what that's about.
There's a shop in San Francisco that had a great sign because they put these up all over San Francisco, which just blows my mind because when I lived there, it was not like this at all.
No, it wasn't.
They put everything in stores is $1,000+.
So if you're coming in here to steal something, be careful.
Advise everything in stores $1,000+.
Be careful.
Can you believe? So yeah. Okay. Sorry, San Francisco. Like get that. Get that guy.
What up, nephew?
Oh,
what's up, nephew?
What's going on? Says what's up, nephew? I know you can't hear him.
What's up?
What up?
Yeah. No. You have a question for us? No. Okay. You're just saying hello. Let me ask you a question. Here, let's ask him. If I took you to a Raptor game against the Warriors, and you had a Warriors jersey on, you had your Steph Curry jersey on. Yeah, let's say you were wearing it, and they said to you, "Hey, there's a contest. You can come onto the court, shoot a three, shoot a free throw, hit a layup. You win $500, but you have to take off your jersey."
Would I get to keep my jersey?
No, it's your jersey. I just can't wear it on the court.
Yeah.
Yeah. See? Because it makes sense, right? Because you're in Toronto. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
That's what's up.
See?
Okay.
Even he gets it.
That's what's up.
You don't get it?
I would.
Oh, you don't get it. Okay. So there was a kid at the Raptor game on Monday.
Yeah.
And he went to go on the court to do that, and he had a Warriors jersey on, and they made him take it off, and they gave him a Toronto Raptors shirt to put on.
Are you doing that now? Now that part. Okay, we left that part out. Like you gotta take the Curry jersey off. You gotta put a Raptor jersey on.
In front of everybody, they said no, you have to take it off.
Yeah.
You okay with that?
Are you doing that too?
Yeah.
Okay then.
Money.
If I get to win money, I raised you right. Okay.
Okay.
Keep the jersey.
Yes, you get to keep everything. Yes.
Okay. There you go. I stand corrected.
He said, if you're gonna give me money,
I stand corrected, brother. Yes, sir.
But I raised a businessman, so
yes, you did. 100% you did do that.
If it was free, trust me, it would have been like, nah, fam.
I'm just thinking about. I'm seeing little man. He's probably been in school all day, supercharged. I'm going to see Steph Curry tonight. I'm going to hang out with my family. He's got the Curry jersey on. He actually it's probably his dream to meet Curry.
Yeah.
With that being said, he comes on the floor. In the process of him coming on the floor, with Curry seeing me, I got to snatch my Curry jersey off, and I got to put a Toronto Raptors jersey on. First of all, I ain't come here to see you dudes. I came here to see Curry. That's who I came here to see. That's first of all. And number two, I'm thinking about my man over here, Tone. I'm thinking about you and how that would go over with you. Clearly, it would go over different than I thought it would.
I no, because I would because here's the thing. If he got picked just randomly, which I think is rare. Like normally I would like talk to somebody like I did in Detroit. Like I know a guy who knows a guy, and they got us down on the court to do whatever, right? I would say, hey, let's, like when I went, I used to go when there was a stretch there where the Bears played the Lions on Thanksgiving when the Bears were a little bit better and the Lions were a lot worse. The Bears were playing the Lions every Thanksgiving, and we would go down to the game, and I'd purposely not wear all my Bears stuff. I would purposely not wear my Bears stuff. Like I still cheered for the Bears, but I just like, I don't need, you know why? Here's why. I'll tell you why. Because when I was living in San Francisco, I went to a Raiders game, and I have no vested interest when it's Raiders and your Niners. Right. And there was a dude in his Niners jersey out in the parking lot, and he got shot. And I went, like, I don't need that in my life. Right. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Now, that's not Toronto. That won't happen. That would not happen in Toronto. But my point is, I feel like if the team is doing something for you like that, you should respect the team. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I don't know the circumstances. So
right. It's interesting you bring up the Lions and the Bears, because I was thinking to myself, Tone, I was watching, because around here we watch basketball. We don't just watch the good teams. We watch all the teams. And probably about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was watching the Blazers and the Jazz. And we both know how bad the Blazers and the Jazz are. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because you brought up when Detroit was really bad and the Bears were a lot better. I'm sitting there watching the Blazers and the Jazz, and I'm watching this game, Tony, and I'm thinking about how bad this game is, watching how bad it is. But I'm thinking to myself, there was a time, and I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but there was a time when the road to the NBA championship went through these teams. In order to get to the NBA championship, you had to go through Portland. In order to get to the NBA championship, you had to go through Utah.
I think people remember Clyde and the Trailblazers went to 2 NBA finals in 3 years.
That's a fact, Tom. Yes.
And people forget that. And obviously, I think everybody knows the Jazz going to those back-to-back years.
Sure.
But there was some, those were some good.
And watching this game between the Jazz and the Trailblazers, and again, I'm bringing it up because you brought up going to the Lions game with the Bears, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, and how bad the Bears were at one point. And here the Bears are on the cusp of, getting back to the NFC Championship and possibly going to the Super Bowl, and the Bears being what they were. Like, there was a time when, you had to, if you was trying to get to the bowl game, you had to go through Chicago. That was a thing that was really going on. And there was a time when if you was trying to get to the NBA championship, you had to go through Portland and you had to go through Salt Lake City. That was going on.
I think people forget the last time Green Bay won a Super Bowl, they had to beat the Bears in the NFC Championship game, and it wasn't Aaron Rodgers that beat them.
It was not.
It was the Packer defense, specifically B.J. Raji, and the fact that the Bears were on their third string quarterbaest
surprise you, I was in Chicago that day, because the day before that, my best friend, his brother got married in Chicago because his wife is from Chicago. I was in Chicago on that Sunday,
and they moved the wedding a day earlier because they didn't want.
And I wasn't able. What's interesting, Tony, I wasn't able to see the game in its entirety because, first of all, it snowed that day. So I had to, and Chicago is a nightmare as an airport trying to get out of.
Oh my God.
So I jumped on the first flight smoking that morning, like at 6 o'clock. I was gone, Tone. I was out of there, and I was able to get out. And I was in Chicago that day, that NFC Championship game.
I will be in Chicago to catch a couple of Bulls games in March. It's my new thing, right? Go to Detroit, watch a couple games, and go to Chicago, watch a couple games. I'm gonna try and see as many of the. I've seen 7, 8 different teams. I'm gonna try to see all 30 teams this season.
All right, yeah.
Then I can speak to them. So on Friday when we're watching Knicks and Timberwolves, I can tell you about what I saw, because what I saw in Minnesota, I did not like what I saw. But we'll get to that a little bit later. There's so many things to talk about. I want to quickly, because we don't do, since we're talking about football, let's do a really fast, just a recap of some football stuff. What I'd like to do first is, as always, because I am that guy, I want to first tap myself just right here on the back. Because I'm on record as having picked the Texans who won, the Ravens who won, the Bills who won, the Eagles who won, the Commanders who won, and let me move the banner so you can see, and the Rams who won. So
question, Tom.
When I have yes.
Before you move any further, is it time to have the conversation about Mike Tomlin?
Well, let me put it to you this way. A friend of mine, shout out to Josh, friend of mine sent me this, and I'll just read it to you because I can't. I don't have it ready. I wasn't planning on popping it on screen.
Sure.
He sent me this, and it basically says, okay, Coach A, 18 seasons as a head coach.
Yep.
12 playoff appearances, 8 division titles, 11-11 playoff record. Coach B, 18 head coaching seasons, 12 playoff appearances, 7 divisional titles, 8-11 playoff record. Which one got fired?
I'm going to say Coach B.
Coach B is Mike Tomlin.
Yes, he is.
Coach A is Mike McCarthy.
Now, remember where he got fired from, Tone?
I know, it's Dallas.
Yes, remember where he got fired from. I mean, I don't know if that's fair when we're talking about
I'm just
him.
saying he just said it because it's funny.
Of course.
But it's interesting that the one who clearly has, not that either one is good, but has the better record in the playoffs is the one.
Sure.
Is the one that got so now Dallas has to, I don't know, maybe Jerry Jones will just coach the team himself. Do you think?
And I've heard that there's conversations about Coach Prime. And is that realistic?
I don't think that's realistic, and I'll tell you why I don't think it's realistic.
Why not?
Jerry likes a coach that he can tell what to do,
and that's not going to happen with Coach Prime.
Prime give you any indication that he would just be like, he would listen?
No.
Like he's the guy who's out here doing meetings and press conferences and interviews saying there's certain teams I won't let my son play for. If they draft, I'll just tell them no.
Fair enough, too. Fair enough.
Yeah,
he's not the only one. He's not the only one. And by the way, Tone, while we're recapping these games, why is that a bad thing? Because it's not like it's the first time. If Fluent Jr. is coming in to he's a part of the 24-25 draft class, and Tone, you've been doing your homework. There are some teams
and Charlotte is pegging him to
Charlotte got the 4th pick in the draft, and they making it clear that Fluent Jr. is their guy.
I'll be like, no.
We're not going to Charlotte.
No, I'm not going to Charlotte.
We're not going to Charlotte.
Nothing good happens to players that go to Charlotte.
We're not going to Charlotte. Now, you can figure out whatever it is you want to do after that, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't. We've seen guys do that. We've seen John Elway do that. I'm not putting on an Indianapolis Colts jersey. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting on a Baltimore Colts jersey. I'm not doing that. Right? Archie Manning made it clear. Eli is not putting on a San Diego Chargers jersey. No, we're not coming to San Diego. It's not happening.
I think no, so, and other guys.
It's a bad thing. I don't.
Kobe's told the Nets if he didn't personally, but his agent, if they draft him, he's going to go play in Europe.
That was a bluff, though, Tone, and you know.
No. I think all of them are a bluff. I think all of them are
I don't
bluff.
think Eli would have played for San Diego, though, Tone. I don't think he would have played there.
You're telling me because I didn't. San Diego did end up picking him, right, and then trading him.
Traded him.
I recall.
Mhm.
However, if they picked him and said, "Well, you're ours, play or stay home," you think he's staying home? Let's be honest. There's a point where the player's going to say, "I'm going to play."
I don't think he's staying home, Tone. But I also think that he's going to force their hand. He's going to make life miserable for them, where they're going to have to move him. You're not going to make me play here. You're not going to do that. Just like Bo Jackson did.
And that's fine. Then if I own your rights for 5 years, sit for 5 years, see who wants you.
No, that's not the way that works, Tone. No, that's not the way that works at all. Bo Jackson already proved that. That's not the way that works.
That was then. The CBA, I believe, has changed. You own that player's rights. And
just own the player's rights as when you draft them. That's always happened. You've always owned the player's right. Own the player's rights when you draft them. But
no, not in the 70s in the NBA. If he didn't sign within like 60 days, he went back into next year's draft.
Oh yeah, that could happen. Yeah, I can go back to school.
That, thankfully, they changed that, but
thank God.
Yeah, but no, I think you own. I believe 3 or 5 years. I'm not sure. I have to check, but I'm stubborn. I'd say nope. You don't play for me? No problem. Go play. See how you like that.
I just like the idea of being able to control your own career. I mean, this isn't. I don't subscribe to the. One more time, Tone.
You're not a free agent. You got.
I am.
No, you're not.
I put my name in the draft. Okay, sure. I put my name in the draft.
You put your name in the draft, meaning
put my name in the draft.
Meaning any team that drafts you, that's who owns your rights. That's where you should play because you're being drafted. Once you've earned the right, you can become a free agent. Just think about the chaos if that didn't exist.
Well, here's the thing, Tone. I did earn the right to become a free agent because if you think about it, I don't have to put my name in the draft.
Okay.
I could just be a free agent. I don't have to put my name in the draft. Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
I could. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, it's my senior year at Auburn, and I'm probably the best running back in the country. You know what? I'm not going to declare for the draft. I'm not going back to school neither. I'm going to let the draft pass. And then I'm going to become a free agent and go, you know what? I'm available. I'm not going back to school.
I don't think you can do that.
Why can't I do that? There's no reason why I can't do that.
I don't know, but I don't think you can.
I don't have to put my name in it. What I can do, Tone, is I can go get a job. I don't have to put my name in the draft. I could go get a job. And in the process of me going to get a job, right after the draft, I can quit. And my agent says I'm a free agent.
So you're telling me Sanders says, you know what? I don't like who the first 5 teams in the draft are. I don't want to play for the Giants or the whoever's got the top 5 picks. I'm gonna go work for Prime Productions. I'm sure his dad has a production company. And that's what I'm gonna do. And hey, if any team wants to call me in, August, let me know. And they were like, hey, we saved $15 million. We earmarked for you. So we're going to sign you as a free. No, there's got to be.
There is no loophole, Tone, to say that I can't do that. There is none. The reason, and here's why, Tone, because when you put your name in the
why
draft.
Has no one ever done that?
That's a good ass question. You know why nobody's ever done that? Because I don't think nobody's ever done that because nobody's ever thought about doing that. They think about the implications of losing money. Because think about what you just said, Tone. If I put my name in the draft and nobody drafts me, what happens? I'm a free agent.
That's right, because you went through the draft process and nobody drafted.
I did go through the draft process.
I don't believe you can become because you have to be a free agent. To be a free agent, you have to register with the league.
Right.
Once you register with the league, you are then. They can then say to you, sorry, you got to go through, unless time has passed. No, we're going to put you through the draft process.
Interesting.
Especially if you're a star player. I'm going to look into it. I don't know, because that's interesting. The fact that if that's true,
yep,
and you don't have to wait 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 12 years, whatever, someone would have done it.
I think the biggest problem, Tone, is that they're worried about losing all that bread. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. They're concerned with losing all of that money, because if they lose all of that, if they lose all that money, and that's the price of it. If I'm thinking about being able to go play where I want to play, that's the price of it. I'm not going to go through the draft process. I'm not going to put my name in the draft. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to work out. I'm going to go get a job. Are you going to put your name in it? No, I'm not putting my name in the draft. And once the draft passes, I let teams know that I'm available.
All right, I'm going to find out. Let's hit up Sports PSP because he has a super chat, and then we're going to make our picks for this week's NFL, and then we're going to get into a lot of NBA that we have to cover. Is Justin Herbert overrated? Well, let me start by saying this. What have I been calling him for the past 3 years?
What have you been calling him, Tom?
Justin Rivers.
You had been saying
because I told you guys. Remember that wonderful show, Player's Choice, man. You blew up a good thing. I just tell you right now, it's stupid on your part for that.
Gridiron was a great show. Yes, it was.
Player's Choice Gridiron was a great show. Just think about the people that I and others, Hugh Jackson, Cynthia Freeland, Steve Weish, Luke Kuechly, like there were so many great NFL people. Who's the guy? Don't kick the ball to Dante Hall. The people that we had on that show, the conversation we had on that show were fantastic. So I think that's one. But I digress. But on that show, I said Justin Herbert is I called him Justin Rivers, and everyone went, "Ooh, that's crazy. You wild for that, Fluent." No, who is he? He's a guy who puts up really good numbers and does nothing in the playoffs. And what did he do? 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions?
3 of them.
Good numbers in the regular season. And everyone's like, "Oh, the roster. This he had better. Phillip Rivers had better players here, better players there." Sure. The Chargers didn't have any good players. I wouldn't go that far.
No, they did. They had some damn good players. However,
I wouldn't go that far.
However, now, Tone,
he proves me wrong. He's Justin Rivers,
and I'm glad you brought that up, Tone. I'm so glad you brought that up because
Phillip Herbert, you can pick.
I vividly remember a guy who played for the Denver Broncos for 13 seasons. He was a loser.
Right.
He was consistently getting trounced
as
in the bowl game. He was a loser. Now he ends up.
He was going to the bowl game though. He wasn't trounced. He wasn't getting knocked out in the first round.
Getting trucked, by the way, in the bowl game.
Yes.
And by the way, he did get knocked out in the first round. I remember they lost to Carolina in '96, and they had the best record in the NFL. And they got knocked out in the first round. That's number one. Number two, as good as and him coming in, Phillip Rivers coming in, he reminds me a lot of. That's who he reminds me of. He reminds me a lot of Dan Marino. That's what I thought I was looking at when I was watching him. His throwing motion, how he conducts himself in the pocket. I think he only had, if I'm not mistaken, Tone, and you can fact check me on this one. I think he had 4 interceptions this year, maybe 4 or 5 interceptions this year. He might not have had that many.
Who, Herbert?
Yes, I think he only threw 4 interceptions this season. However, I watched Dan Marino for 13 years get dump trucked in the bowl game, lose in the first round of the playoffs, put up godly numbers. Because by the way, I don't know if a lot of you guys in the chat know this, but so you know, in 1989, 1992, 3,600 yards was slinging it. That doesn't sound like a lot to you guys today, but 3,500 yards, that was slinging it. And he was throwing to guys like Mark Jackson. He didn't get Shannon Sharp, who didn't turn into Shannon Sharp until later.
You're talking about Elway now? Because you said Marino. Okay, you said Marino.
Right.
Yes, you meant Elway.
I meant Elway. But Marino...
3, by the way. Sorry, 3.
So not 4. He threw 3 interceptions this year.
3 interceptions in 17 games, 4 in the playoff game.
Yep. Right. And with that being said, John Elway was getting trucked in the playoffs until Terrell Davis shows up. Shannon Sharp becomes an all-pro. He's got better defense. Now all of a sudden, not Dan Marino, I'm sorry. John Elway is a top 5 quarterback all time. I am so sick of these fickle ass fans because I can tell you right now, Justin Herbert, this is his first year with Coach Harbaugh, by the way, who is the quarterback whisperer. He's the damn good quarterback coach.
Not this week. He wasn't.
No, he was not.
Unless he was whispering, throw it to the other team.
No, Tone. The other team does not have the powder blue jerseys on. No, don't throw it to them. No.
Beautiful.
No, don't do that. Throw it to your guy. Your guy got the powder blue jersey on. So, with that being said, right? With that being said, is Justin Herbert overrated? Well, it depends on where you got him rated. If you think he's the best quarterback in the game,
that's always the answer. That's always the answer.
It depends on where you got him rated. If you think he's the best quarterback in the game, yes, he's overrated. If you think he's a top 5 quarterback in the game, I'm not sure that I can name 5 legit quarterbacks definitively better than him. I'm not sure I can say that.
I think you can because you can go Mahomes.
Okay.
Josh Allen.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Joe Burr.
Okay.
That's 4 for sure.
Okay.
And then we're going to start having conversations after that. So I would say if you say top 10, 100%, not overrated, properly rated. If you say out of the top 10, underrated. I think if you say, like you said, top 3, yes, he's overrated. If you say he's in that 5, 6, 7 range, it's properly rated. 5, 6, 7, I think he's properly rated.
Anywhere between 5 to 7. Fair. Fair.
Some people, if you're a Philadelphia fan, you'll say, Jalen Hurts. I'm sure I'm missing some. Right now, the way Jaden Daniels is playing,
right?
I don't know. I don't know. Great. I've watched ever since he threw that Hail Mary that basically ended the Bears season. Okay, just remember the Bears were 4-2, and everyone was talking about wow, what a surprise, Caleb, blah 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 blah. They throw that Hail Mary, they lose 10 in a row after that.
Oh my God.
That was like the straw that, and so I started watching him closer after that game. Obviously, he was also, let's be honest, he was also my fantasy quarterback. So I was watching his numbers.
He had some incentive. Okay.
Yeah. And so I watched more Commanders football than I probably normally would have. And I'm like, he's special. Like, he's special. And then that's why I picked them. A lot of people weren't picking Washington to it. I picked them, and I'm like, this team has this team might be, it's not crazy to say, this team might be going to the NFC Championship game.
Can we rewind really quickly, Tone? How many games did they lose? I just want to make sure that I heard that right, because that just didn't sound correct to me at all. It didn't.
Imagine.
That did not sound correct to me at all. I just want to make sure that I heard that correctly.
I might have to leave you alone for a minute and take a break. I'm not kidding. Like, let me just, like, if I may. So remember, the Bears started 4-2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. They beat Green Bay the last week of the season, which did make my heart feel pretty good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they started 4-2.
It's like Michigan beating Ohio State. Mm-hmm.
They started 4-2.
Yep.
They won the last game of the season, which means they won 5 games.
However,
and their record was 5-12.
My God.
So you do the math. I'm not going to say it again. How many they lost in a row?
Oh my God, that was awful. Oh man, my goodness.
All right. So I'm gonna give you a topic in a second, and we're going to talk about it because I apologize. I have to.
Tone, I got you covered. There's something that I have to, because Baba Guts, he has a kill. I asked you in October, and you said the Celtics back-to-back is going to happen over repeat.
Before we do that, we're going to make our NFL picks. Then you can talk to Baba Guts.
I would love to talk about this because this dude always tries to press me, and I love that about him.
100%. We're gonna
love that about him.
Okay, so we got Texans and Chiefs. Make your pick.
Texans and Chiefs. I think that the Chiefs are winning the bowl game. Until somebody drops them, I think the Chiefs are going all the way.
Okay. I'm with you. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Here's my only problem that ruins my this game is what ruins what I was hoping would happen, because I said Washington has a chance of going to the NFC Championship game. The problem is I got Detroit going to the bowl game. So I'm going to pick Detroit over the Commanders, even though that pains me. Who do you got?
I think the clock strikes 12 on this kid this weekend, Tone. I think this Lions team, they got some unfinished business. and I
So
think they handle Washington this weekend.
we're both on the Chiefs. We're both on the Lions.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Rams and Eagles.
I really want to pick I really want to pick the Rams because that defensive line is going to give Philly hell. But I think that Philly outlasts them because I think that their quarterback is he's going to make a lot of mistakes, because I know him. I do.
So you're
I'm gonna
going with?
I'm gonna take Philly.
Okay, we're both on Philly.
Yep.
Ravens and Bills. This is where we're going to disagree, I'm sure.
I'm taking Lamar Jackson this weekend. I am.
You just made the list.
Yep, I'm taking
Bills
Lamar
Mafia,
Jackson this
baby.
weekend.
Bills Mafia, baby.
Mhm.
So I've got Bills and Chiefs, Lions and Eagles. You've got Ravens and Chiefs, Lions and Eagles. There's the breakdown. Have your way with Bubba Guts. I'll be back in
No problem.
I remember that guy on Love Connection. I'll be back in 2 and 2.
Go handle that, Tone. There's just this one thing that I want to handle with Mr. Guts. He says, I'm the Dana White of YouTube basketball. No, you're not. No, you are not. You are not. In fact, nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows who you are. You don't instigate anything. But I love the fact that you try to press me and you think it's impressive because you think that if I say something, if I stand on it or if I don't stand on it, then that exposes me or anything like that. I said what I said. I think that the Celtics are winning the NBA championship in back-to-back seasons. And I'm standing on that. I 100% am standing on that. But I also said, until somebody drops Patrick Mahomes, I think that they're the champs. I don't. I think that they're the champs. You don't get to hold me accountable, sir. You don't. And you know why you don't get to hold me accountable? You don't get to hold me accountable because you don't have a say. You don't have anything to say. In order to hold somebody accountable, you have to have something to say. You don't get to stand in the crowd and hold me accountable when you are just talking from the back of the cafeteria. That doesn't work. That's a sideline dude. That's not a frontline dude. A frontline dude gets to hold me accountable. Tone gets to hold me accountable. My people on the panel get to hold me accountable. Other people who are doing this get to hold me accountable. You don't get to hold me accountable because you don't have anything to say. That's why you don't get to hold me accountable. No, not you. No, not you. What you say to me is not of value off the strength that you don't have anything to say. You standing on the sideline, you're the one yelling from the bleachers. That's not good enough because you won't get on the stage. That's why you don't get to hold me accountable. That's why you don't. You do not get to hold me accountable. Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself to a higher standard. How about you do that? How about you do that? And by the way, Antoine, and for the record, Antoine, I said that on the panel. I didn't say that here. I said that on the panel. I didn't. I said that on the panel. So when you start to hold yourself accountable, then you can hold me accountable. When you step up on the stage where I am and you start to tell people how you feel and you have an actual opinion and you can stand on it and you can defend it, then you get to hold me accountable. Until you do that, you don't get to hold me accountable for anything. Not one thing do you get to hold me accountable for. Absolutely not. Because you are a sideline dude. You're a dude who points fingers and tells everybody what this dude is doing wrong, but you're scared. You actually scared to stand up here and actually tell people how you really feel. So you don't get to hold me accountable, sir. Hold yourself accountable first and have the nuts to stand on the stage and tell people how you really feel, and then you can hold me accountable. And by the way, Noman, since we're on the subject of my Lakers takes, has the playoffs started yet? I'm just wondering if the playoffs have started. Are we close to the play? I don't even think half the season is over. Have the playoffs started yet? No, they have not started yet. So what I said, until the Lakers are out and they're finished, like the Warriors are, like your sorry-ass Warriors are, until that happens, what I said is not invalid. How about that? What I said is not invalid because the season is still going on, and there's a legit chance that the Lakers could go to the Western Conference Championship. Why? Because the playoffs haven't started yet. When the playoffs start, if the Lakers are bounced, right? If the playoffs start and the Lakers are bounced, then I got to come off of what I said. You know what? I was wrong. 100% I was wrong. But until then, Until then, I don't have to come off of this because this is where we are. We ain't even halfway through the season yet. So I don't have to come off what I said at all. You, on the other hand, have to come off them sorry ass Warriors, though. That's what you have to do. In fact, you come up here talking to me, right? You come up here talking to me. Chill. What about that take about the Warriors? Meanwhile, it's been crickets from you about the Warriors over the last month. I haven't heard a word out of you about them. Not one word. I haven't heard that about you. Not one word. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. You do not get to hold me accountable, whatever you're Bubba G cuts. No. Until you stand in the ring and until you're willing to put yourself on the line and come up here like I do, no, not you. I don't think so, sir. Not you. Absolutely not. You don't get to do that. And it's not an ego battle. It's not me being full of myself. It's me being in a position where I'm not afraid to say how I really feel about something. And I don't think that you understand the difference between lying, misremembering, and misrepresenting. I am not lying. I am not doing that. When you lie, I think that people, they go away from that sort of stuff. They don't recognize what exactly it means to lie to somebody. Because when you're lying to somebody, you are intentionally trying to deceive them. Now, if I give misinformation, okay, maybe I got this wrong. Okay, this was wrong. Let me fix that. Right? Let me fix that. But for me to say, I think that the Celtics are going to win the NBA championship in back-to-back seasons. You can't hold me accountable for saying that I think the Celtics are going to win the NBA championship in back-to-back seasons when the Kansas City Chiefs are also in the same season. You can't hold me accountable for that. And if that doesn't happen, that doesn't mean that I lied about it. That means that I was wrong. That's all it means. That it just means that I was wrong about it. And you know what? If I was wrong about it, I have no problem admitting that I was wrong. I have no problem admitting that I was wrong about. Like I was wrong about Julius Randle in Minnesota. This thing is not working out like I thought it was. I thought that team was going to be a lot better than they were. I thought that this team would not miss a beat. I had Minnesota in the NBA Finals. Before the season started, when they traded for Julius Randle, I thought Julius Randle brought a toughness that they didn't have last year. I thought he brought a playmaker that they didn't have and a distributor. I thought that he would unlock guys like DiVincenzo at the long ball line, Mike Conley at the long ball line. This thing, on the other hand, has been going the other way. It's been going the other way, and it's been going the other way, ridiculously the other way. And I was wrong about them. I think that the Minnesota Timberwolves, they got to make the playoffs first. I'm not 100% sure that they're going to make the playoffs. Considering what the Western Conference is and considering how up and down Minnesota has been, I'm not sure that Minnesota is making the playoffs. I can't say with 100% certainty, Minnesota is making the playoffs. I'm not sure about that. I'm not. This is a 500 team, and in the Western Conference, I can tell you right now, a 500 team, that is not good enough. No, not in this Western Conference. 500 is not good enough. It's not. So, with that being said, it looks like I was wrong about the Minnesota Timberwolves. It looks like I was really wrong about them because this team who I had going to the NBA Finals, not so much. Not so much.
Perfect timing.
Yes, sir.
How was that? Perfect timing. So we made our football picks. You got your rant. Now, if I may. Oh, don't forget, by the way, I'm going to do more seasons, but I'm going to recap in a minute our results of our NBA 2K draft and what happened in the season. But first, let's start with my guy. And then we'll go over to your guy. But let's start with my guy, Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Buckets and the Miami Heat seems that they are at an impasse.
I don't think people understand what an impasse is, Tom.
Well, I'll explain it.
Mhm.
Jimmy wants out of Miami.
Yes, he does.
Pat wants players to honor their contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Jimmy had said some stuff. They suspended him. It sounded that for a while like they weren't going to trade him. They were going to force him. There at one point they were saying, "Oh, he's going to re-sign a long-term contract." They had a face-to-face apparently today. Jimmy's again reportedly said, "I am not signing a long-term deal with you guys, so that's fine. I'll play out my contract, and then you're going to lose me for nothing." Basically, forcing Pat Riley's hand to look for trade options.
Mm-hmm.
If I may, and not just because Jimmy's my guy, but let me start with the Pat Riley part. When GMs, owners, executives say honor your contract, my head starts to hurt a little because
I already know where you're going with this.
do they always honor their contract?
No.
Right? Don't even. The only reason the NBA is better than the NFL is because the contracts are guaranteed. That being said, if Jimmy was putting up 4 points a game and whatever, and someone would take his contract, $100 million over the next 2 seasons, he'd trade him in a heartbeat. He wouldn't say, no, we're gonna stick around, keep averaging 4 points a game. We know that times are hard. That's a bull-faced lie. They'd trade him in a second. So unless you're going to give every player a no trade clause that basically states we only trade you if you're okay with us trading you, then you're not honoring their contracts. So I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm not saying walk off the team. I'm not saying be Le'Veon Bell and just say, but again, I also think they can have those conversations privately. I don't like it being out in the public.
I've never dug that tone. Never.
I don't like. But that being said, sometimes like with Dame, right? Remember the GM was basically like, well, if he wants to trade, he's got to say it. he's got to come out publicly. Right. So he did. So do I like the way Jimmy handled it? I don't know, because did he have those conversations with Pat? Did he say, hey, listen, Riles, dude, like this is what's happening. And it got nowhere. So then he went public. So I think that part of it is ridiculous. The other part of me though says, well, you do have a signed contract with the Miami Heat. It's pretty big. It's what is it, 42 billion this year and 58 next year, or 46 and 54, whatever it is. It's $100 million over the next 2 years, and he has. If I'm you're not getting $50 million anywhere else. Let's be honest. Jimmy's not getting 50 anywhere else at this point in his career. Right. So he's got this year and next in Miami, as far as I'm concerned.
Tone, I'm going to go back to a football reference. And I remember when Keyshawn Johnson was in Tampa, and they sent him home. Stay away from the crew until we can figure out.
We figure out trade three.
Until we can figure. You don't got to come to games. You ain't got to come to practice. Just stay away from the crew, and we'll figure it out for you. Don't worry about that. I think that this Miami Heat team, if I'm not mistaken, I think they lost to the Clippers yesterday, but I think they're a game out the 5 spot. So this is a playoff team. With Jimmy, depending on what his attitude is, one of two things can happen. This team could actually compete in the East, or this guy can be a cancer and he could wreck them.
Right.
He could completely wreck them. I can tell you what I'm not trying to hear, Tone. I'm not trying to hit a ladder. Because what's more likely to happen, considering what we got going on? It's not like he's going to come back to the crew and he's going to galvanize everybody, considering what this whole thing has been. It's not like he's going to come back to the crew and everybody's going to get on board with him and go, yo, okay, let's get behind Jimmy and we're just going to, it's us against management. This is not the Bulls in the 90s. No, this is not that at all. In fact, this is a very me society that we live in, and they care about getting paid. Now, is Jimmy a selfish guy? In this particular situation, he wants out. Yes. Excuse me. Jimmy is thinking about himself. Jimmy is not thinking about anybody else but himself right now. So if Jimmy's thinking about himself right now and Jimmy wants to take care of Jimmy, I think you should let Jimmy take care of Jimmy. Let Jimmy keep Jimmy away from the crew. Let's get Jimmy the something that works out not just for buckets, because remember, Tone, as a businessman, this isn't just going to work out for buckets. This is going to work out for both of us, right? So let's make sure that we get something that works out for the both of us. But in the meantime, I want this dude away from my crew. I don't want him around my team.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm hesitant. Like they are the 7th seed. They are, like you said, a game out of 5th or a game and a half out of 4th, whatever the hell they are. But like, there's a lot of bad. I don't know if you know, there's a lot of bad teams in the NBA.
A lot.
Like, there's a lot of bad teams.
I think we got 4 teams, Tone, in the league that got single digit wins. Garbage. Trash.
Like, this is actually sad when you look at this. And so when I look at, okay, they've been winning games, and look, there's some, like any team, there's some good wins, there's some bad wins, but like in the month of January, they're let's see what they are. Hold on. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Okay. So they're 500 teams. So when you say they're a playoff team, that means doesn't mean that much to me. But then I look here and I see them again, just this month. They beat the Pelicans. Okay, the Pelicans are in a free fall. Are they not in last in the West?
They might.
Yes,
I think we actually had this conversation earlier. I think they're the worst team in the NBA, Tone.
Okay. I don't think many would disagree with you.
I think they're the worst team in the league.
So they beat the Pelicans. Whoop-de-doo.
Yep.
They lose to the Pacers. They lose to the Jazz.
No, they didn't lose to the Jazz, Tone. They got blown out by almost 40 in their building.
Sorry, you're 136 to 100. Absolutely. They get destroyed by the Jazz.
In their building.
They lose to the Kings. They beat the Warriors, who aren't the Warriors. Let's just be honest. Ever since that hot start, they've looked garbage. Then they come back and beat the Jazz. Well, yeah, after you got stomped by 36, you better beat the Jazz. They beat the Trailblazers, who are garbage. They lose to the Clippers.
No ban, by the way. No ban.
And they're going to make everyone scream how wonderful 40-year-old LeBron James is, because tomorrow night they're going to lose to the Lakers. So, and everyone's going to go, oh, look, LeBron's back. He scored 42. Yeah, it was against the damn Heat. So even their 5 wins, what's that? The Warriors. We're not talking about the Warriors anymore, buddy. Are you going to bed? Okay, let me finish my rant. No, it's Lakers and Heat, buddy. We're talking Heat. We're not talking Warriors. That's what happens when you interrupt in the middle of a conversation.
You said that
I'm gonna get.
you're talking about the Warriors versus Jazz.
Heat versus Jazz. Go back to sleep. You're so pretty.
Go to bed. Go to bed, nephew. Go to bed, man. Go to bed. We're working over here, brother. Go to bed.
He heard Warriors and he came to their defense.
We're working over here, brother.
The
Lakers and the Heat.
Yes. So everyone's gonna So LeBron's gonna go for like 46, and everyone's gonna be, wow, he's so incredible. He's the GOAT. No, the Heat stink. So when you say they're a playoff team,
garbage.
Sure, but they're a 500 playoff team because right now, for whatever reason, the league stinks. There's haves and haves nots. And there's, like you said, there's 5 teams with single digit wins, and we are 35 games into the season, 40 games into the season.
Almost halfway through the season.
Almost halfway through the season, and you still got that many single digit win teams. Like there's some tanking for Tua going on. Or I know it's for flag, but so the Heat aren't good. Like they're not, when you say they're a playoff team, that doesn't mean much to me. Are they a championship contending team? And the answer is no. So why would you trade? Are they going to get better with a 1-year older Jimmy next year? No. So trade him. And you know what? Maybe get some draft picks. Maybe get a younger, player who can come in and help your team with a little playoff push, right? Like, because you're not gonna
remember too, Tone. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this deal between Jimmy and whomever he ends up with, straight up, it's not going to work because you're not going to get back. Usually, when you trade stars, you don't get back equal value. When
it never not never. I don't want to say never because I feel like everyone ripped the Pau Gasol trade, but the Grizzlies got Mark and pieces, and that actually worked out pretty good for them too.
It did.
Worked out great for the Lakers.
Did.
But
It did.
yeah, but you're right. Typically, when you send, just a fun fact. Do you know what? See, the problem is he's not a superstar, but what star player had the absolute worst start to their playoff career?
The absolute worst start to their playoff career. I don't know, Tone.
Like a lot of people bring up Jordan's 1-9, which is atrocious, and it's horrible for any top 10 player. But a star player, Pau Gasol in Memphis started off his career 3 playoff appearances in a row, 4 sweeps, 0-4. So he started off 0
playoff game.
So as far as star players go, that is the worst.
As one playoff game.
Superstar Jordan takes the cake. But of the star players, Pau Gasol starting off 0-12. It's crazy.
Like a lot of people don't talk about that Pau Gasol, when he got on that Laker team when they went to the finals, just so you know, this is a guy who had 0 playoff wins, never got out the first round of the playoffs ever in his career. He'd been mopped out of the playoffs every year that he was in the playoffs. Now he gets on the Lakers and they're in the NBA championship, and I got to fight with Kevin Garnett. He was not prepared for that. He wasn't.
No. Yeah, I don't think you're ever prepared.
He wasn't ready for that. He wasn't.
So that's the thing. So with Jimmy, are you going to get equal value? No. But you got to move on from him, right?
That's why we got to get the third team involved, Tony. You know how I am. That's why we got to get a third team involved. Yes, sir. We got to get, because I think that all parties considered, I think that we could get what we want. Because with moving on from Jimmy, even though Pat doesn't want to do this, this is an ego thing more than anything. Because if it was really about business, if it was really about business, he would move on from him. Tone, you're a businessman. What have you always told me when you fail?
Yeah, fail fast.
So Buckets has been there 5.5 years. Okay, this thing has gone as far as it's gonna go. It's time to move on. Rouse wants Jimmy Butler to play out this contract off the strength of it being about principle. It's not about us winning the NBA championship. It's not about us going deep into the playoffs. It's about you put your name on the contract, and I am going to make you honor it. That to be honest with you, that's an ego thing more than anything, I think.
It is, but it's also bad business.
It is.
It's bad business, and that's what bothers me about it. Is Riley should know better. Riley should know better because he's in the business of building teams, and so he should see the writing on the wall. Jimmy's not getting better, and what has happened? Listen, we always blame Jimmy, and that's why I say I don't want to blame Jimmy. They blamed him in Chicago, they blamed him in Minnesota, they blamed him in Philly. They're going to blame him now in Miami, but Jimmy's personality, his play style, whatever, it always has a lifespan. And so I don't think it's either. I don't think it was the Bulls or Jimmy's fault. I don't think it was Minnesota or Jimmy's fault. I don't think it was. I actually blame Philadelphia for trading Jimmy, let's be honest, and picking Tobias Harris, who's doing a heck of a job in Detroit, by the way.
Right.
But I just think Jimmy has a lifespan. Jimmy, like some coaches, right? Like everyone talked about Knicks coach Tibbs, right? Tibbs in New York, the head coach of New York, has a lifespan because the way that he coaches, the way his style, it only lasts. I think that's the thing. Same with Jimmy. He's good for a few years, and then you got to move on from him. Jimmy's getting later on in his career. It's time to move on for him. That's it. And let him go. Let him go.
I don't know if I can argue that, Tone.
Let him go.
Don't. I think there are a bunch of different players who have a shelf life, as we all know, right? A bunch of different players who have a shelf life, and I think Jimmy Butler is one of those guys who has a shelf life. Even when he's still good, he's got a shelf life where, at some point, you got to move on from him. And before it gets to this point right here, and that's where we are with Jimmy Butler.
So
that's exactly where we are.
That's where. So we're gonna move on from Jimmy Butler, like Miami should. And I'm gonna call this your guy, even though he's my guy. He's your guy because my head might explode.
Oh boy.
they've retired Michael. My head exploded. Chill disappeared. They have retired Michael Cooper's number, and I love Coop. And Coop has now in the Hall of Fame. Coop is a was a phenomenal defender for the Showtime Lakers. He's a multiple-time NBA champion. But now we're retiring Coop's number. Like whose number shouldn't be retired? Like if Coop's number is retired by the Lakers, then we got to retire Byron Scott's number. We got to retire Vlade Divac, Eldon Campbell, who else? Mark Madsen, Lamar Odom, Ron Artest. I think Derek Fisher's number actually might already be retired. I'm gonna look that up here in a second. Lakers, actually I'm gonna do it right now. Lakers retired numbers. Like who do we got already? We've got.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I've been going on my little rant about Michael Cooper's number being retired. So you've got in LA, you got Kobe. You got Kobe's 8 and 24.
Yep.
You got Wilt Chamberlain's 13.
Mm-hmm. 5 years, by the way. He only played there, Tone. He only played there for 5 seasons.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You got Pau Gasol's number 16. You got Elgin Baylor's 22. You got Gail Goodrich's 25.
Mm-hmm.
I always call him Godrich, by the way. I don't know why I know it's Goodrich, but I always call him I always get everybody's name wrong. Magic's number 32. Kareem's 33. Shaq's 34. James Worthy's 42. Jerry West's 44. Jamal Wilkes 52. George Mikan's 99. And now Coop's.
Now Coop.
So if Coop, and listen, like I said, I was saying before you jump back on.
Yep.
If Coop's number is retired.
Yeah.
And look, phenomenal. Like I said, phenomenal defender for the Showtime Lakers. One-time defensive player of the year. He stole that, by the way. 5 times champion, 8-time all defensive team. So if Coop's number is retired, a guy who went, and I know it's not just about numbers, but a guy who went under 9 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists in his 12 seasons with the Lakers. Then there's a bunch of other names, right? Derek Fisher needs to get retired. Rick Fox needs to get retired. Lamar Odom needs to get retired. Like there's another probably 20 names. Byron Scott needs to get retired. Byron Scott, FYI. People are calling LeBron the greatest Laker of all time. Byron Scott has more points, more rebounds, more steals, fewer turnovers, more championships. So you gotta retire Byron Scott's. So where do you stop? There's probably I could think of 20 names if Coop's number is retired, and this is my problem with retiring numbers from people who aren't all-time greats. It's because when you start with I love Coop, please. I hope he doesn't see this and says, you asked me to come on your show and that's how you treat me. No, it's just that for me, if you start that is I feel like a broken record.
Hold on, Tone.
Of honor. I love the Ring of Honor because you can honor these greats. You can honor these greats who get and who gave so much to the team. Yep. You can honor them without saying your number should never be worn by another. Just think about your number. You were so good that your number should never be worn by anyone in this franchise ever again.
Now, just so we clear, Tone, because again, I know how you feel about retiring jerseys. But I want to make sure that we're clear on who the Lakers are. They got the most NBA championships in NBA history, right? Since the NBA's inception. There's no second most behind the Celtics. They got the second most championships in NBA history. With that being said, Tone, you are a Laker guy. Can you name me 5 guys better defensively in Laker history than Michael Cooper? 5 of them.
Better defensively than Michael Cooper.
Better defenders than Michael Cooper.
Played for the Lakers
for as long as he did.
No. Now you're saying for as long as he
did. I'm not moving the goalpost either, Tone. Remember,
there 5 years.
I played 12 years here, and in the 12 years that I played here, this is what I did in the 12 seasons that I played here. Tone, in the history of the Lakers, how many guys in terms of defenders were better than me in your estimation? And remember, I played here 12 years, Tone. How many guys were better defenders than me?
Here's where I have a problem.
Oh boy.
Here's where I have a problem. When you're expected to do nothing else and you only do it for 20 minutes a game, it's easier to be a great defender. So if I asked Ron Artest played for the Lakers.
Sure.
If I said to Ron Artest, you're going to bed? Okay, good night. I love
you.
Say good night, Unc.
Good night, Unc.
Go to bed.
If I asked Ron Artest to only play defense and not score, he'd be fine. Quickly, just so you know, Ron Artest, Gary Payton, Dennis Rodman all played for the Lakers, but not long enough. I get it. But if I said to Kobe, hey, listen, dude, all you got to do is score 9 points a game, focus on your defense, he would have been 10 times better than Coop.
Okay.
So,
right.
So there's Shaq.
Okay.
So my point is giving him all this credit because he played great defense is cool.
Right.
Except for the fact that when you don't have to do anything else, it's easier. I'm not saying easier to be a better defender. When I only have to go play defense for 20 minutes against the second unit, or I know he did it against some of the greats, but typically he was doing it.
But he wasn't only. But here's the problem, though, Tone. He wasn't only a defensive. He wasn't only a defensive stopper, and I understand your logic about him being a specialist. Okay, but as a specialist, or from this franchise, there weren't many other specialists better than me. And remember, Tone, I could shoot the three. I did do that.
Yeah. He was one of the first three guys.
I could shoot. I might be. If you think about the 3 and D guys who played here, I might be the best D and 3 guy that ever played for the Lakers. For the amount of time that I played for the Lakers. And don't get me wrong, we're talking about a time when, I think in 87, I think it was 87. This is arguably the best team that the Lakers have ever had. I think they was only making like 2 or 3 threes a game. They weren't shooting the 3 ball that much. However, Coop was a big part of that. On top of that, I was our perimeter defender. I was our Kawhi Leonard. I was our Michael Jordan. I was that guy who was doing that. There's a reason why I was an all-league defender, because I got the assignment. In addition to me getting the assignment, I was one of the better finishers on our crew in transition. I know you remember the Cooper Loop. I know you remember that. Absolutely. And I was one of the best D and 3 guys. So with that being said, in 12 years that I played here, there aren't many guys who were better at what I did than me. There weren't many.
Honor him. You don't need to retire his jersey.
To retire a guy's jersey, Tone, is the ultimate.
Go ahead.
I feel like to retire a guy's jersey is the ultimate immortalization of a guy, because in 30 years, in 40 years, in 60 years, in 90 years, George Mikan played for the Lakers, the Minneapolis Lakers, in the 40s.
That shouldn't even count.
That was almost, this is what I'm talking about. That was almost 80 years ago. But the fact that he did that, we cannot just forget about it. So how can we immortalize George Mikan? By remembering him, let's hang his jersey up in the Raptors. Right. This guy used to play here. And this is what he did when he played here. Just so you know, Tone, all of those jerseys that are retired.
George Mikan was the best player in the league who won 5 championships for the Lakers and had the first three-peat ever in history.
Sure. To
say I'm going to retire his number, I'm even, as much as I'm against retiring numbers, I go, okay, I get it. I'm going to retire Magic's number. Okay, I get it. I'm going to retire Kareem's number. Okay, I get it. But if I'm telling you I don't think they should retire Wilt's, I think I'm very, very clear in saying they shouldn't retire Coop's.
To retire Wilt jersey, he only played 5 seasons there.
Derek Fisher. Why isn't Derek Fisher's number retired? He did more for the Lakers than Coop.
It may get retired. Actually, that's not true. No, he didn't. No,
yes, he did.
No. So what did he do? What did he do more than what Coop did?
Everything. Everything on the basketball court. Derek Fisher played as long. He has more playoff wins. He has 5 NBA championships. He was a top 3 player on that team, and Coop never was that. Coop wasn't a top 3 player.
Derek Fisher, for all intents and purposes, I think he's the all-time. He was a part of being the. I think he's got the most wins in Laker history as a player.
He's got more wins than LeBron James in the playoffs all time.
He's got the most wins. However,
LeBron plays 22 years, and Derek Fisher has more playoff wins than him, and 5 rings with the Lakers. His number shouldn't be retired.
Playing with the Lakers, and what did he do? So Derek Fisher, he was on that crew in '97 when they was in the playoffs. He was on that team.
Yeah,
he didn't play much as a rookie.
No.
Same thing in '98. He didn't play much on that crew that went to the Western Conference Finals. He didn't play much. Even in 2000, when they won the NBA championship, he was a reserve. In 2001, he ended up starting on that. Nope, I'm sorry. Yeah, he started on that crew. In 2002, he started on that crew. In 2003, sure. And then in 2004.
In every season he played with the Lakers in his first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons, I think he played more than Coop, more minutes per game than Coop. He put his first stint with the Lakers. His first stint with the Lakers, he played 8 seasons.
Yep.
He played 24 minutes a game, and that's including like you said, his rookie year where he only played 11 a game. He
didn't have the impact that Coop did. He wasn't the defender that Coop was, because again, Coop was a specialist. Derek Fisher was a smart player, and I won't argue that. But Derek Fisher was not elite at anything. He wasn't elite at anything. No, he wasn't. Michael Cooper was actually elite. Michael Cooper was actually elite as a defender. Elite.
If you're going to retire Coop's number, you got to retire Derek Fisher's number, is my point. And I don't think you should retire either.
I don't think that
I don't think everyone gets their number retired. Everyone doesn't get a damn ribbon. And that's where we're going.
For what Coop did, yes, 100% he does.
For what you're saying is they should immortalize it so that people ask the question, who's that? And they talk about him. Yes, absolutely. Have a ring of honor. Put those numbers of those players and save the jersey retirement that no one should ever wear the number 21 again because Coop was that good. No,
yes.
No,
yes.
I disagree.
There aren't many. If I remember in league history, how many guys are double-digit all-league defenders?
This isn't Portland. This is the Lakers.
Yes, and this is what I did on the Lakers, Tom.
Hold on. Listen. Linda,
listening.
Listen. Okay. Give me your top 10 all time. Actually, give me your top 12 all time.
James, Jordan, Jabbar, Chamberlain, Russell, Magic, Bird, Duncan, Olajuwon, Diesel, Bryant, Curry.
You have 7 Lakers in your top 12. 7 people who played for the Lakers in your top 12.
Mm-hmm.
In most people's, it's about 6 out of 10, 7 out of 12. More than half of the top 10, 15 players in league history are Lakers. You can't start retiring numbers of guys who aren't in the top 100.
And I'm not arguing that part. I'm not arguing that point, Tone. What I am arguing is that a guy who played for the Lakers for as long as he played for them as an 8-time All-League defender, I think Scottie Pippen, Bobby Jones, Jabbar, Bryant, Gary Payton, Dennis Johnson. I think he's actually been on the All-League defensive team more than Dennis Johnson. Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, Garnett. These are the guys that have 8 or more All-League defensive guys.
Okay, hold on. Okay, go through those. Go through those guys again. Go through those guys again quickly. Wait. Okay, Bryant averaged over 20 points a game while doing that. Next.
Bryant, Garnett.
Average over 20 points a game while doing that.
Sure. Let's see. Who am I thinking about? Scottie Pippen, average over 20.
Average over 20, yeah.
Gary Payton, Chris Paul,
20.
Jason Kidd.
Same.
Jason Kidd is a 9-time All-League defender. Bobby Jones. I don't think Bobby Jones averaged over 20 a game, but he was.
So every player you mentioned, with the exception of Kidd, who might be under, but averaged almost double-digit assists.
Right.
Okay. Had to facilitate and start. Every player you mentioned there is either the 1 or the 2 on their teams.
Sure.
On those teams where they were doing those defensive things, with maybe the exception of Bobby Jones.
Right.
All of them were the one or two, either the best player or second best player on their teams while they did that.
Yep.
Cooper was 4 or 5, which means he's not in the same, although he defensively may have done the same things like
either their first or their second best defender, Tone,
but
for
not
almost a decade.
But not all the same responsibilities. And and when you're the 5th best player on a line, on a team, should you get rewarded? Yes. Should you be remembered? Yes. Should you be immortalized? Absolutely. Should you have your number retired? No.
But Tone, we're talking about, keep going.
So if Coop's retired, right? Yep. So then Magic's is retired, Worthy is retired, Kareem is retired. Who else was on that team that was playing ahead of him?
Jamal Wilkes was retired. Yep.
So see my point? You're literally retiring every single person on that team. It's too much.
But
it's not special anymore. It's not special.
Now here's the difference. I think here's the difference with that, Tone. The difference with that is what Coop did. Coop was the best at what he did, even for the Lakers. Like you talked about, Tone.
Like he won. There's someone in the comments here keeps saying he won a depoy. He won a depoy playing 23 minutes a game. He won a depoy averaging less than half of the steals and blocks per game of 5 other players in the league. Like he won a depoy based on reputation, not based on he was the best defender in the league.
Really? That's interesting too, Tone, because I mean Dennis Rodman won it. He was a rotation player for half the season. So that was going on. Dennis Rodman was a rotation player for half the season, and he won the defensive player of the year.
Who's retired Dennis Rodman's number?
One more time.
How many people are retiring Dennis Rodman's number?
Dennis Rodman's jersey is hanging in the rafters in Detroit. 100% it is. No doubt about that. Yes, it is. It's hanging in the rafters. But Tone, you just like all of those guys that you mentioned, all of those guys that we talked about, Michael Cooper, for all intents and purposes, those years that he was on that team, he was their best or second best defender behind Jabbar. That was it. He was their best perimeter defender, even if he was a rotation guy. And there were times when he did start. It was when Byron Scott showed up. That's when he didn't start anymore. That was 4 years into his career.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that's not good enough to retire your number.
Being the best D&3 guy, arguably the best D&3 guy in the history of the Lakers, my goodness.
It's not enough. It's not enough. To the draft. Mm-hmm. These were the teams. I had Luka, De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards, John Morant, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Paulo Banchero, Bam Adebayo, Nikola Jokic, Anthony Davis. You had Amon Thompson, Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Johnson, Jonathan Kuminga, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Evan Mobley, Victor Wembanyama, and Jaren Jackson Jr. That was your lineup.
Yep.
Would it surprise you if I told you? Take a guess first. Let's guess. Take a guess how many wins your team had and my team.
Now, this is for the season. Is that correct, Tom?
For the season, yeah. Full 82 game season.
That crew that I had up there, I think we win 75 games.
Close. You won. Well, let's get to the tape. So here's the lineup. Let me pause it just so you don't think I cheated. Here's your lineup. Or no, is this? Yeah, this is you, the Seattle Supersonics. Okay, and SGA. Oh, did you have SGA? Did I? I did have SGA. Yes, SGA. I missed SGA when I read it, but yes, you did have SGA. So you had SGA, Thompson, Mitchell. Yes, I don't know. I may not have read his name. So you had it rates by overall ranking. You had Giannis, SGA, Mitchell, Brown, Wembanyama, Mobley, Jackson, Johnson, and Amon Thompson. Okay, so there, you got all the players that you drafted.
Yep.
My team, the Las Vegas. I gave Fluent Jr. free range to name them. He named them the Las Vegas Knights. So you can see our logo up here. He had fun making their uniforms. By the way, they were fire. So there's my team: Jokic, Doncic, Tatum, Davis, Durant, Morant, Edwards, Banchero, Fox, etc. I think someone down there. I think the banner's blocking it. Let me take it off. There we go. And Bam Adebayo. Let's see what happened here. We're so simming the league, so you can see that we're nothing.
This is what the schedule look like.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no tricks, no nothing. We
Season
we
one.
sim the season. We sim the season.
Mhm.
The MVP was my guy, Nikola Jokic. Wins the MVP.
Las Vegas 2-0 versus Seattle. The Las Vegas
Yeah.
MVP.
I commentated. I'm going to skip over it. Your guy. Oh no,
Mhm.
that's the defensive. Sorry, let me get to the defensive player of the year, Westbrook. We're going to talk about him in a minute. Here we go, Victor. Your guy wins defensive player of the year. So I got the MVP. You got the defensive player of the year. There he is on the Sonics. Looks good. Looks good in green. Peyton Pritchard. Okay, Damian Lillard, clutch player of the year. That's interesting. My coach, Willie Green, is the coach of the year, going 79-3. The executive of the year is my Frank Vaughn. Your team went 79-3.
79. Wow.
79-3. Your 2 losses, however, came to me.
Your team.
Yes.
What's your team?
We played each other twice, as you know. You play home and home, and we both swept our way through the playoffs.
Lost to nobody.
We met in the NBA final, as we should considering the teams that we picked. The only difference was that my team remained undefeated in the playoffs.
We got swept. Damn, we ain't win a game in the finals. Like, we ain't close. I gotta dump my roster. We ain't close, Tom. What the hell?
How do you have 2 79 win teams
and get smoked in the finals? We ain't lose. We got smoked. Not one win. Man, I gotta get rid of. I gotta flip this roster. We garbage.
You have
we
no
trash.
business being there. It's because you're in a weak Western.
Oh my goodness. Trash.
Now, in your defense, there's nothing you can do about this. In your defense, so we can do this again with another team, or I'm gonna actually sim it for maybe 3 to 5 years and see what happens. In your defense, however, I will tell you, SGA did get injured at one point in the season, but he was healthy in the playoffs. But he did get hurt. But when I saw this, I'm like,
got smoked in the finals. How we gonna I thought that might be the biggest choke job, Tone. We won 79 games and got to we won 79 games, 12-0 to the finals.
12-0 in the playoffs, and then
get smoked in the finals. Get the hell, get this roster out of here. We ain't close. We're not close to winning it. No, we not.
Therefore, I have created the greatest team in history, because not only did we go 79-3, we went 16-0 in the playoffs.
Never lost. Didn't lose to anybody. Yeah,
I do got to go back. I think it's still saved. I'm going to ask him to go. I want to see because I didn't lose to you. We were 2-0. I purposely looked and saw that we were 2-0 against you. Who are those 3 games I lost?
Who did you lose to?
Who did I lose to? I need to check that out, because I didn't look, and now that I'm thinking about it, like, how did I lose 3 games if I didn't lose to your squad? Like, who did I lose?
At least I got justified, and I wonder who else I lost to. I lost to you twice. Who else did I lose to? And if I did, whoever it was that I lost to, they better have beaten you too.
I'm sure
to beating me.
I lost to Charlotte probably 3 times, and you lost to them once.
That's garbage.
The way 2K works, that's
trash.
What I want to know is, I won MVP, you won Defensive Player of the Year. Our teams are stacked. Is it just because they're sharing the ball so much? Like, what? I'm curious to dive deeper. That's why I want to do like a 3 or 5 year one.
Yeah.
I want to dive deeper and figure out how, like, I don't know if you noticed, Jokic averaged 18 and 20 or something. Like,
he averaged 18, 9, and 8.
Yeah, like, that's not a lot.
And won the MVP, by the way, on a team. That's not Bill Russell numbers, because Bill Russell was 18 and 22. But even still, I mean, 18, 9, and 8.
He was my only first All-NBA team player. You didn't have any. Your only All-NBA player was, I think, Wemby was 3rd team All-NBA.
No Giannis, no SGA,
no
Mobley.
It was Giannis. I'm sorry, it was Giannis, 3rd team. But that's it. So it was just, I found that I thought it would be our starting lineups would be 1st team, 2nd team. So it was very, very interesting.
Wow.
So that was fun to sit and do with Fluent Junior. It was a great draft. So I enjoyed doing that. If you want to do it again, like I said, I can definitely record more of it next time. And just I didn't know how it would be, so I didn't record it. But so what I'm going to do, we got 30 minutes left. I have some rapid fire topics, but I'm going to put the link in the chat for anyone that wants to come up and ask a question. But let's go through some rapid fire, because I do want one quick football thing that I forgot to mention when we were doing our football, when I was singing the praises of Jaden Daniels. Check this out. Career games where your team recorded 0 punts and 0 turnovers. Rookie Jaden Daniels has 3 games out of his 18 starts with 0 punts and 0 turnovers. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana have 2 combined in their careers.
Man, that's good company right there, Tone. That is some serious company right there.
No, hear me out. Not each. The 4 of them combined.
All of them together.
Combined have 2. And he's done it 3 times this season.
Just this season in 18 starts.
And they've had 9, I can't even read
990 starts. Almost 1,000 starts.
Almost 1,000.
We got 2 of them.
They did it twice.
He's done it. He did it 3 times in one NFL season. That's impressive.
How?
And Tone, what I really like about him is I like him on the move, right? I like him on the move. He even though he's young, and we're gonna get the book on him, Tone, because they got the book on. They got the book on plenty of young quarterbacks, right?
On Justin Rivers.
They got the book on Phillip Rivers. They got the book on Justin Herbert. They're gonna get the book on this kid Jaden McDaniels, right? They're gonna get the book on him, and we're gonna figure out, what makes him tick, what he doesn't like. But one, he looks really comfortable in the pocket. He looks really comfortable throwing on the run. He goes through his progressions, unlike a lot of young quarterbacks who panic. And he seems really calm. Tone, I'm watching that game when they played against Washington, and I'm thinking to myself, whoever screws up first is going to lose. And sure enough, when in the words of my man Tone, when buttered,
when
butter,
I don't even want to call him margarine. I don't want to call him butter. He's margarine. He's fake butter.
In the words of Tone, buttered. That was the difference in the game right there. That was it. That was it right there.
We've got 30 minutes left, and we haven't talked about 2 of the main topics. So let's do that. And then we're going to talk about crazy wanting having 2 depoys. The Detroit Pistons don't suck.
They don't suck, Tone. Here's what I have to catch myself doing. So we clear, Tone. I think they've won 8 of their last 10. Cade Cunningham, I think he's 29-7 or 29-8 in his last 5 games. I keep wanting to call him Michael Beasley. Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley actually can shoot the basketball. It's interesting that he couldn't shoot with the Lakers. He moves over to Milwaukee. He's a knockdown shooter. Then he moves to Detroit, and he's a knockdown shooter again. He couldn't shoot it that well with the Lakers, though. I'm not really sure what was going on there.
Oh, that's LeBron's fault.
Yeah, he couldn't shoot it when he was with the Lakers. Tim Hardaway is actually shooting the ball. I'm a little if I'm going to be transparent about this, Tone, because I feel like I overrated Jalen Duren initially. I do think that in 28, I think he's going to be on an Olympic team. I do. I still do.
Jalen Duren is a big, strong dude that he needs to understand his role, and I think you're going to be happy with him when he's like, "This is my role. I'm going to just do it."
Yes, I think he's a little stiff. A lot of the times when him playing defense, he plays defense standing up. I don't think that he moves his feet as well as he can. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I think that's one of the major problems. You just mentioned it, Tone, that he needs to know his role. That's probably why he's not doing as good a job as he can, because I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think that's the major problem with him. I don't think he knows where he should be, what exactly his role is as a rebounder, as a defender, as a transition guy. I don't think he knows exactly what he is. But once he becomes that, I think he's going to make Detroit even better. This kid, Jaden Ivey, who broke his leg,
Yeah, when he comes back, yeah.
When he comes back, he's going to be better. And the difference on this Detroit team is JB Bickerstaff, who, Tone, you're probably gonna kill me for this, but I think he's a bridge coach. But I think he's exactly what they need. I 100% believe he's exactly what they need. They were a dumpster fire last year. They had no direction whatsoever. They had no idea where they were going. And then Bickerstaff comes in and he changes the culture. He makes those guys guard. He actually has Cade moving the basketball on top of Cade being healthy. The offense is different. The schemes are different. And I think that there's a different culture in Detroit than it was last year. Remember, Tone, this time last year, you told me that Toronto is going to break the streak. You told me that. Because this team was on their way to losing 40 straight games. Yeah, that's where they were going.
If it wasn't for what I told you, they probably would have.
Well, you told me that, Tone. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm like, yo, they're going to lose 40 straight games. They're not going to win a game for 2 months. They're not going to win a game. I'm looking at this crew. They're not going to win a game. We're going to have an investigation in the NBA because there's no way that this team could go like 3 and like 79. There's no way that could happen.
I struggle with one thing. When Monty Williams was brought on, he said, and I quote, "It's going to get worse before it gets better."
He did say that.
And I told you guys at the beginning of last year, remember, you guys had me on Players' Choice and we did the rankings, and I said, they're like, if they're the 35th team out of a 30-team league. I told you they were the 35th. I believe those were my exact words. They're the 35th team out of 30 teams. And you guys all laughed and said, "Oh, Fluent, haha, no, they got Monty Williams now. They're going to be better." And I said, no.
They were.
When a coach comes out and says it's going to get worse before we get better, I believe he had a plan. I believe he saw that this team was young and needed to go through something to come back in the following year. I honestly believe if he was still here, you'd be seeing this either way. And yes, Bickerstaff has changed the culture and he probably is a bridge coach, and you feel it when you're around them, right? Like, I got to spend some time with the Pistons last week, and you feel it when you're like, even in their warm-ups, you can see they're taking it more seriously. They're I was watching, I was down courtside, and Isaiah Stewart had the resistance bands, and he had two coaches just pulling him back as he was like going up for rebounds. And like, you could tell like they were something I didn't. They were serious. Yeah, I didn't see the year before. Sure. And I'm like, I wonder, no way of knowing, but I wonder, Monty Williams said they're going to get worse and then it'll get better. I wonder if he saw that, saying like, this is the season that they're all really young and immature, and they're going to be a little chaotic. So I'm going to let them. And then next year we're going to tighten up the reins and say, okay, now we got to take it seriously. Now that's dangerous to do, but maybe that was his plan, because now they brought in that guy who did that. Cade Cunningham is a year older. He's more mature. Duran, although we mentioned, doesn't really know, but is understanding a little bit more. You have a guy in Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway's dad is there, like baseline I believe he's moved to Detroit. He's there every game. So he's almost like that veteran presence, whether it's through son's ears or direct. They've got a lot of pieces that are there and kind of part of the situation. So, we'll give some of the credit to Bickerstaff, but I wonder if Monty Williams didn't have this 2-year plan anyways. Even Jordan Ivey, I think, although him getting hurt, it allows some other guys to step up a little bit too. The Thompson kid, like I said, looks like he's going to fit in. Right now he's going on pure athleticism, but he'll figure that out too. It's a good young team. It's a really good atmosphere. It's a good team to be around. So they don't suck. And I think they're on the up. But again, is Cade Cunningham. So this is what's going to be the question now at the end of this season.
Yep.
Can he be your number one superstar type player to lead this team deep into the playoffs?
Yep.
And that's the question that I don't know the answer to.
Right. Now, for those of you in internet land and in the chat, and those of you guys who are listening, there's a difference between lying and misremembering. Tone is not lying about anything he said. He did misremember some things.
Oh,
Now,
but
now, for example, like Tone brought up Coach Williams getting in the press conference and saying that this is going to get worse before it gets better. Now, Tone left out the fact that they had to beg him to take the job. He didn't want the job. That's number one. They had to beg him to take the job. And on top of them begging him to take the job, they had to sweeten the pot. And $75 million is 100% a sweet pot. And he said that, why'd you take the job? It was for the money. 100% it was for the money.
Do you think he didn't want to be there?
He did not want that job, Tone. He didn't. No way did he want that job. They had to beg him to take the job. And to your point, some of what you said is absolutely true, Tone. When he saw the archetype and he was like, yo, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. Before this gets better, this is 100% going to be bad.
It'll get worse.
I don't think that he anticipated being that bad, though.
If I may, every team in the NBA, I don't want your head coaching job. I don't want if you want to give me $75 million, I don't want it. I'll take it. I want to put it out there. If that's what it takes to get that I don't want it.
Yeah. I think he, and to your point, Tone, you said it yourself. He said, this is going to get worse before it gets better. I don't think he anticipated it being that bad. I thought that I thought that he could work around it. And then he realized that this, for lack of a better term, this is a shit show. And I don't know if I can fix this. I don't know what kind of timeline. And I don't know if I'm committed enough to fix this. Even though they paid me, because I didn't want the job at all. Because remember, Tone, when you're talking about a rebuild like that, you got to be committed. And he wasn't committed from the beginning. They had to beg him to take the job. And they had to sweeten the pot with the money. And that still wasn't enough. But I find myself today saying when a team beats the Pistons, they beat the Pistons, I got to catch myself. Because I'm like, yo, Detroit doesn't suck.
Yeah, that's a good win.
That's a good team. To be honest with you, Tone, I was looking at the standings, and I don't think it's ridiculous to think that Detroit could be a bona fide playoff team.
Oh yeah, they're the 8th seed right now. There's some, like I said, there's 3 teams that haven't won double digits in the East, so there's an opportunity for them. They could slide into that 6th slot. I believe your guy G Cuts here, Bubba G Cuts, said Pistons 6th seed before the season's end. He's calling it
they're game out the 5 spot. They're one game out the 5 spot.
But listen, as long as they keep inviting me to games, because I started off a 5-game win streak for them. So and they're 2-0 with me in the building. So
you might have to come back. We might have to get Tone back. We might have to get Tone back in the building.
Superstitious. So
I don't know exactly what's going on with the kid. They got Hollins. I don't know what the Ryan Hollins. I don't know what the story is with him. He's a young kid, high flyer, gets up and down the floor. He's tough, and I like that about him. I just like the direction of this crew. I don't think this is a one and done thing. And again,
you know what they have that's why it's working. They've got I keep telling you, they've got a good mix. So they've got a distributor like Cade's. I think he's averaging like 9 assists a game, and he's scoring.
In the league, Tone.
Yeah, I think he's averaging about 24, 25 a game too. So they've got him. They've got toughness in Duran and Stewart, right? Like they can play. When I say dirty, I don't mean dirty. I mean
they do the dirty work. They do the dirty work.
They do dirty work.
Sure.
They've got, like you said, the high flyers and Thompson. So they've got now they're getting some shooting from Beasley and from Hardaway. So they've got all the pieces sprinkled around. It's how you put them together. Can you put games together? But they've got all the pieces they need. They don't. The one thing they don't have, and this is the difference between the number 4 seed and the number 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Maybe it's the difference between 5 and 10, but whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4 typically have a guy who people would consider a superstar. Who I'm down by 1, I put their ball in their hand, and they're going to get me a basket. Right? And that's the difference between a championship team and a non-championship team.
Yep.
I don't know that Cade's that guy yet. Can he be that guy? Maybe. So that's the one thing why they're 6 to 8.
looking like it, Tone. He is. He's looking like I watched him last night against the Knicks, and he looked really poised in the meat and potatoes of the game last night. He looked really comfortable. He didn't look like, he had dollar sign eyes. He looked really comfortable. I'm talking with the fellas, and there's this disconnect where Cade isn't really that athletic, and I'm watching him last night, and I'm thinking to myself, this kid is an athlete. He can get downhill with the best of them. He might not be the best finisher.
He doesn't.
That might not be the case.
I think people are so we've been spoiled with guys who can jump through the roof that the bar that we set is a little high. Last thing, and then we've got a couple guys waiting to jump on and ask us questions. Last thing. So one of the things was the Detroit Pistons don't suck. And LeBron fake takes do. Let me ask you a question. I got into it a little bit with your friends there, on TikTok, about LeBron playing center, and I don't think people understand how content creation and marketing works. So when you want people to view what you're saying, you say something that's a little more than. You over exaggerate your point to get to the point. So I said, show me a time when LeBron started at center. And I said, because, and this was the point. So let me get to the point. Because in the 21-22 season, him being listed at center by the Lakers was 100% narrative, so that they could say, look, he started at every position. Because by that point in his career, he had been a point guard, he'd been a shooting guard, he'd been a small forward, he'd been a power forward. And they said, and they came out and said, well, look, here's 12 games in the season where he was listed at center. So, and look, look at this game. He took the jump. He took the jump ball. So he's the center. And I said, you're avoiding my question. No, you said he never started. You said, show me when he started. And I said, my question is, and I'll repeat it again. And I've repeated it 10 times. No one's answered it. At the beginning of that season, you had a healthy Anthony Davis. I'm thinking of old Raptor. You Anthony Davis, center, listed as center. You have a healthy Dwight Howard, although old, center and healthy.
Yep.
You have a healthy and younger than Dwight Howard, but still older in his 30s, DeAndre Jordan, and even Jay Huff. But you have 4 guys listed at center and healthy. Why are you listing LeBron at center? Now, I got a bunch of answers. Well, those guys all got hurt and he had to play center. No, that wasn't until March. Right. The season starts in October. Why was he listed at center in October?
Because of him playing center in the future.
So that their plan was that Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard and DeAndre Jordan were going to get hurt and he was going to have to play center. That was their plan?
Well, they were going to play him at center at some point during the season. Now,
okay,
if he's lit, this is where the disconnect comes in with me, Tone, because I'm thinking if he's listed at center, I'm listed at the 5 tonight. So I'm playing the 5 tonight, not listed at the 5 in training camp. No, those two things are not the same.
He was listed to start the season. Game 1, he was listed. He was as a center for this season. People don't understand the rules or how it works. So at the beginning of the season, the teams put in on day 1. These are the players. This is their position, and it's one position.
Like DeMar DeRozan was listed at the power forward.
Power forward, yeah, exactly. And so my question that can't get answered is: other than narrative, he plays all 5 positions. Why was he listed at center to start the season? Don't forget, LeBron James is very aware of his legacy. He knows very, very well. And so I'm just like, and it's okay. And here's the thing that bothers me. It's okay to say your favorite player or your GOAT or whatever has flaws. Like I just told you, I have Jordan as the GOAT. Did I hesitate 1 second to talk about his 1-9 terrible record an hour ago?
You brought that up first, as a matter of fact.
No problem, because it's a fact. So it's okay to say, yeah, LeBron had the Lakers put him at center because he wanted to be the only player on Basketball Reference history, whoever, NBA history, to be listed as all 5 positions. And so these fake narratives where you can't admit that it's just done for whatever, it drives me nuts. You guys, I watched a little bit of clips. You had Gilbert Arenas on the main stage when you guys on Playbook. Not one person asked him about his stupid comments. Not one. Now maybe, I don't know, maybe you weren't allowed to. But I don't shy away from that stuff. So I think it sucks. that we're at the point where, and I'll use these two because they're the most common. Jordan fans can't say anything negative about Jordan. LeBron fans can't say anything negative about LeBron, and they'll fight to the death because they won't say anything negative. And that's why I think it's like, who's my favorite player? Everybody knows. Magic. Do I ever tell you Magic was perfect?
No.
Do I ever say tragic Magic didn't happen?
No. No, you don't. And the downside to it is the quote unquote bronze sexuals.
I don't like that term, by the way. I
I
prefer
don't like it either.
I prefer like LeBronaholics because they just keep drinking the juice.
The thing that I'm thinking is like there are plenty of people out here that support LeBron that give really good information. Really good information. I mean, my guy Goat James Kingdom, I think it's interesting how you two guys go back and forth.
Yeah, I'll tell you why he's horrible. I'll tell you why he's horrible. I'll tell you why he's horrible. One, he brings up he has a page that says I am this page is dedicated to the appreciation of LeBron James. If you're a page that is just there to appreciate the greatness of LeBron James, then you should be talking about the positives about LeBron James. 90% of his content is knocking other players and other generations to try and uplift LeBron. That's like you going out and every girl you talk to, tell them about how nasty their man is. Yo, I saw him cheating at the club on you. I saw him chatting up another girl. Like that's not appreciating your greatness. That's knocking other people to try and make you look better. So I don't like that. He put out an infographic one day with 4 boxes. All 4 of them I proved that were wrong with Jordan information. So when you're putting a graphic up that has 4 pieces of information, all 4 are wrong. That's not sharing good information. I then asked him once. He asked me on his show, and I said something. I said, "Would you ever say that about LeBron James? Because I would never." And this is a quote: "I will never say anything negative about LeBron. That's not good information. That's misleading. That's untrue." And lastly, I asked him, since LeBron James is the greatest scorer of all time because he had the most points, he said yes. I said, so John Stockton's the greatest passer of all time because he has the most assists? Yes. John Stockton is the greatest defensive stealer of all time because he has the most steals? Yes. Okay. Bill Cartwright is a better scorer than Gilbert Arenas because he has more all-time points? Yes. Sorry, that's not. You can't. You're so in this narrative, because of that one point that you can't look at basketball objectively anymore. And that's why I say it's bad information, because it's so through this LeBron is the best lens that it takes away from other takes. Now, that being said, I like him. I think they're hilarious. Like the fact that they have time to edit. Like, have you seen their videos where they do all that editing?
It's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
A lot of time on their hands. I have no time to do that. I don't know how they do that. So good for them. And then I see him. I don't know if you know this. Halloween's my favorite time of the year. I don't know if I've ever told you that before.
You told me that before. It's an event around the house.
Yeah. So when I see him, he dresses up like Jigsaw. He dresses up like Jason from Friday the 13th. So they got all these costumes. So I applaud their efforts. Okay, there's the guys in the private chat bugging me to come on. So Mike isn't working, but my question. Okay, so Markham King, hold on one second. We're going to start with Bubba G Guts, and then we'll ask your question.
What up? Yo.
Yeah. So
what up?
First off, I respect, what you guys are doing. You guys provide very good information. So I just wanted to give you guys your flowers real quick.
Thanks,
so
man.
I'm from Minnesota, right? So I'm in the mindset where
sorry about your loss.
It's no disrespect to Towns, but I truly feel like what Towns is doing in the East Coast, I don't think he could do the same thing in the West Coast. That's why I think he had a problem when he was with the T-Wolves.
Is that a product of Towns or a product of the Timberwolves? And I'll tell you why I asked that question. Watching the Timberwolves in Detroit last week, they look like Julius Randle specifically looks disinterested.
Well,
I got him getting traded before the trade deadline.
Same here. But no disrespect, he's a black
body language. I watched the body language of everybody other than Ant, Gobert, Conley, all of them. As you saw, my front row right there, and I watched and I went, these guys don't even want to be here. Ant went like 10 of 15 from three, scored 53 points. They got blown up by like 20. Everybody else was just like head down, like like they wanted I don't know what's going on there. So I wonder if Cat fell into that mindset of whatever is going on there. But I'm with you. I told everybody the trade it's a net zero. I don't think it helped or hurt anybody. But
yeah,
I had Minnesota going to the finals before the season started. When they made that trade, I didn't think that they would fall off as much as they did. I thought Julius Randle would bring something a little bit different, but the way that the team dynamic was, I didn't think that they'd fall off as much as they did defensively, and they just have. I couldn't have been more wrong about this team. I couldn't have been.
Oh, my bad. Bubba isn't Bubba G Cuts. My bad.
No, that's not
yeah,
him.
no. So
that's a different dude.
I have to I know you guys got other people, but I just have to say this. Like, number one, Towns, I respect his game, but it's to me personally, they traded him too late. I think they could have gotten a way better I think they could have gotten way better talent if they would have traded him earlier. And if you're going to trade him
like in the summer, maybe in the summer, maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
And Randall is too much of a black hole. He doesn't even play defense. Like, I was watching that game against the Celtics, and his game has just changed because of, I don't know if it's because he's trying to give more touches to Julius, or sometimes Ant can come across a little bit immature because I feel like he knows that he can do whatever he wants. Yep. And he just plays to that advantage, if that makes sense. He gets a little charismatic.
Right. He came across as such a jerk on that. If you watch Starting Five, he came.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, I've seen that. No, okay. Sorry, I saw you at Gil's little podcast. Whatever, the live stream
on the main stage. Sure.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you in particular, why does Jason Tatum get a bad rap? Because for me personally, he's like 6'8", 6'10", right? You can't be 6'8", 6'10", and playing like you're too cool sometimes for for school, too cool to play basketball. Because I remember you making a comment saying it's like, damn, why can't you cook this food all the time, mama? And I just think he battles with that within his inner self.
I think a lot of it has to do with him playing for the Celtics too. As good as he is, I think that if he was playing for Minnesota, I don't think that he would get the rap that he was getting. I think if he played for the Trailblazers, I think the fact that he plays for the Celtics, I think there's a different target on his back. I think that there's a different expectation there. Yeah, he could be a little bit inconsistent, and that shit drives me crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I 2 nights ago he went 38-11. Now tomorrow night I might get 24-6, and I'm gonna lose my mind again because that's what he does. But then I might get a streak where he goes 29, 36, 34, and then he's rolling again. But I don't think it's a cool issue. I just think that he's of this era. I think he's of this era where this is the way the game is played. That team that he's playing on, this is how they play. They shoot the long ball. He'll bail you out with bad shots, and it affects the way people view him. I still think that he's a fantastic player. I do.
You and I argued about Jason Tatum a lot as he was coming up, because you were like, he's going to be the face of the league. He's going to be an MVP. And I'm like, I don't see it, because there's another level that he refuses to or can't take. And people are going to say, oh, why you always bring up the mentality? But I think it's the mentality. I don't think it's a soft thing. I don't think he has that anger. I think he's happy. I think he had a good life, and I think there's a problem.
Which he didn't. He didn't have a good life. He's from a difficult part of St. Louis. But I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying, right? There isn't that chip on his shoulder, I guess is the best way. Let me use that term then. He doesn't have that chip on his shoulder where it's just like, I'm mad at the world and I'm going to show you. It's like, I'm really good at this. I know I'm really good at this, where I think the inconsistency comes from. It's because sometimes when you're really good at something, you kind of maybe take it for granted a little bit. And then other times you're like, oh, wow, I had a bad game. I better step up. And just everyone expected him because, well, Kobe this and Kobe that. And he was, a fan of Kobe's, and he's going to, and they expected him to come out and have, the Mamba mentality. It's not a knock. It's just not who he is. And so I don't think we're going to see that next level where he takes over the NBA, because I don't think it's just in his personality. To another level, a step down from Jason Tatum. I watched it every single day with Vince Carter. Had all the
I'm not
tools.
gonna lie to you.
Didn't have that
think,
anger.
I think we will see it. I think
do
the
too.
only way we'll see it, right, is if him and Jaylen Brown aren't in the same team anymore. Like if that Celtics team isn't the way it's construed right now and kind of like dismantles in a sense, that's when we're gonna see who Jason Tatum. Because you remember, like Kobe, we saw Kobe with Shaq. I know, this is a little bit of a different comparison, but
No,
we
you
saw
know, I
Kobe-
know exactly where you're going. I do. I know
Yeah,
exactly where
and
you're
then we
going.
saw
Like,
Kobe
we
without
know.
Shaq.
I didn't know Shaq. I didn't know, as good as Bryant was, I didn't know he was 35 a game good. I didn't know he was that good. I didn't know he was 33 a game good. I didn't know he was 63 and 3/4 good. I did not know he was that good. I didn't.
I did.
And unfortunately, he had to get away from Shaq for us to find that out. He had to get, because if he stays with Shaq, I don't think we ever find out who that guy is. I don't think so. I don't. I'm good to talk to you, brother.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
thank you.
my man.
Appreciate you guys. God
No doubt.
bless.
Good to talk to you.
I don't know if your mic is working, Markham King. So just give a thumbs up or
Let's
something.
see.
And let me know.
Let's see.
All
Let's see
right.
if it's working.
Sure.
Light him up.
Let's see.
Yeah, light him up. What's up, brother? Yeah. No.
All right. Doesn't sound like it, but I have his question.
Yeah.
I put it in the chat and then I'm going to read it so people can see it as well. So, does Mahomes, Patrick, become the GOAT QB if the Chiefs three-peat?
No.
So let me give you how many quarterbacks. Let me ask you a trivia question. How many NFL quarterbacks have three-peated?
The merger was in 69. 0.
0 is the correct answer. So I would say if he three-peats, as long as he continues his career long enough, because you have to play at least 10 years, yeah, he's probably already number 2 for most people. So I would say he might take over if he three-peats. He might.
But Tone, if him three-peating, that was just check the box of championships. And to your point, like, I still got work to do. What's he been in the league? What are we in, year like 7 now? Something like that?
Yeah.
I think we're in year like 7. So he's still got a lot of work to do. There's still some things that need to get done for him in order for him to do that. And on top of that, the current GOAT, you did lose to him. You did. And not once. You lost to him twice.
That is what I said too, is that it's going to be really hard for him. So this is year now as a starter, but it's year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, this is year 7 as a starter. Now in his previous 6 years as a starter, however, he has made it to the AFC Championship game every single time.
That's incredible, Tone. I want to make sure I'm understanding you, Tone. Since he's been in the league as a starter, he's been in the AFC Championship every year.
This is the first year he didn't make the Pro Bowl, which is crazy. So 6 years, 6 Pro Bowls. He has made the AFC Championship game every single year as a starter, so 6 times in a row. Has made it to 4 Super Bowls, has won 3 Super Bowls, and that is the problem, is that he lost to Tom Brady. And
Not
like,
once.
would there be a GOAT, even if it was young and old, it doesn't matter. Would there be a GOAT debate if in 2003 the Bulls were still the Bulls and they played the Cavs and the Bulls with Michael Jordan beat LeBron James in the NBA final, and then LeBron James went on to have the exact same career he had? Do you think there'd be a GOAT debate?
No, it wouldn't.
No, there wouldn't be, because
No.
you're like, no, we got to see them play against each other and he lost. Now football's
Even
a little
if he was
different.
old.
Now football's a little different because there's no, you're right, Patrick Mahomes was never on the field with Tom Brady and defenses and run, like, football is definitely more of a team game than basketball. That's not I don't think that's crazy to say.
Yep.
But yeah, it's going to be tough for him because of that, like you said, because they played each other and lost.
The AFC Championship game was in Kansas City, just so you know. Yeah, the AFC Championship game was in Kansas City.
And twice.
In Kansas City. Right. And that bowl game, which was in Tampa, don't forget, Tom Brady, previous to that bowl game in the NFC Championship game against Green Bay, not 1, not 2, he threw 3 interceptions that day. 3 of them. Goes up against
I want
Yes.
someone. I want someone to I don't like Tom Brady. I want someone to dethrone him. So I'm all
Sure.
for. I'm all for the
Mhm.
Mahomes is better than Tom Brady, and because here's the other thing too. Y'all keep talking and saying Tom Brady's the GOAT. Tom Brady is not the GOAT. Tom Brady is the GOAT of quarterbacks. He is not the GOAT of football.
Mhm.
That being said, we've run out of time,
Mhm.
but I want you to have the last word. Your good friend, your very good friend, has said that the Defensive Player of the Year awards only goes to big men. Jalen Williams. So they should give out 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards. I'm assuming one for bigs, one for guards, because he feels like it's just based on blocks.
It's not based on blocks. Tone, how you feel about retiring jerseys? This is how I feel about this shit. And I'm gonna tone it down because I know we out of time and we got to go because I'm ready to flip out when I hear that because that is 100% a participation trophy. 100%. It reminds me, Tone, when I see a referee call a double foul, you saw somebody foul first. Pick somebody.
Yeah, that's a cop
Don't
out.
hand me that.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
cop out.
Don't. You saw somebody foul first. Now, I do agree with him where adding a third team, all-league defensive team, I'm good with that. I do think that because we've got some damn good defenders in this league, and I'm comfortable with the top 15 defenders of that year. I'm comfortable with that. That part I have on the strength of that, Tone. I actually want to add 3 more all-stars. I want it to be a 15-man roster instead of a 12-man
I
roster.
want to get rid of them. I want to get rid of them. Make less. Because
And I think that
people use these accolades and these all-time things. Like here's another one issue with your boy. Player of the week. Oh, well, this guy has more players of the week. Well, yeah, well, the player of the week is stupid. And also it only used to be one for the whole league, and now there's one for the East, one for the West. Before you know it, it's gonna be one for every division. So it's like these awards have become ridiculous. There's too many. There's too many. Everyone gets a pin. Everyone gets a trophy. Yay. Hey, little Billy, look at you. You made a shot in warm-ups. You get a ribbon.
Yeah.
Speaking of little Billy, I'm going to end it on my rant. So my boys, team I coach, my youth team, we're on a 10-game winning streak.
10.
We good.
Okay.
2 games on Saturday. Win the first one. In the second game, right early on in the game, we're up 14-8. Make a layup. Should be 16-8. You know my team does this because they're my team. We hit 4 straight threes. So we go on a 14-0 run. So it should be 16-8 plus 12. So it should be 28-8 at that point. The scorekeeper accidentally, I'm assuming, puts 2 points to the wrong side. And so it's in 26-10 instead. Still up 16. But there's a 4-point error in the scoring. Free throw shooter. So they come back and tie the game. Free throw shooter steps over the line as he shoots the free throw. I look at the ref and say, "Hey, he stepped over the line." He said, "Oh, sorry, I missed it. I looked over to say something to somebody." And I'm like, "Yeah, but your job is to watch. Like he was the one watching the free throw shooter." Said, "Your job is to watch him." My bad, he says. He does it again on the second one. Does it again on the second one. So does it again. So 4-point swing by the scorekeeper. 2 free throws counted that shouldn't have counted. That's 6 points. 10-game losing streak. We lost by 5.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
You won't believe this. I was the calm one trying to tell all the parents.
Just knowing you.
I said, just relax. It's just a seeding game. The first 6 games are seeding games, and then like I said, in our other division, we're undefeated. We're good. I have 2 different leagues. I said we just came off right before the holiday, before the Christmas break. I think I told you 5-0. We won our tournament. So I said we're good, guys. 5-0. We won that tournament. We're undefeated in this league. In this other league, we're doing just fine. It's 1 loss. It's a 5-point loss. No big deal. They lost their minds. They were texting. I had to mute because I'm in a, they have a group chat. I had to mute the group chat because they're showing videos. Look at this ding ding. Yeah. We got to do something. We got to write letters. We got to. I'm like,
God. Oh my God.
They're U12. Just. Like it's. I said, in fact, it's probably good that they lost because they were getting a little too big for their britches after winning that in a row.
Need to get humbled.
Just everybody chill. Everybody chill. But that brings us to the end. Can you believe that though?
I love it.
I don't mind them losing, but that's tough.
That is a tough loss, though, and I won't argue that. That was definitely a tough one. So, y'all know what it is around here. It is the end of the show. However, you know where to find us. Me and my man Tony Tone. We do this every Tuesday on the Sports Fluent Network and on Chilltown Hoops. You know where to find us. Tuesday at 8:00. We will see you next week. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Amen. Call your mother. Well, last time you talk to your mother. Call your mother. Talk to you guys soon, but until then, take it light. Take it. Absolutely, man. It's good to see you guys.
There's 3 guys with big mouths who wanted to come and debate me today. None of them showed up. Just saying.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Amen. Call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.